How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go over some of the trades that we took on Thursday, as well as the game plan going into this week. So on Thursday, this is what we looked like on the Friday contracts. If we go on the 30-minute time frame for the Friday contracts, 10's below the 50 on the call side, and then we go to the put side. We ended up, the 10 did cross the 50, but since the 50 is still down, the market is still neutral. So, you just have to wait for that 50 to curl, and then we would be, trending bearish, but that never happened on Thursday. So, we were neutral. So, all right, so this is what happened on Friday. On the 0-day chart, we didn't get any really opportunity until after like 12 o'clock. We ended up getting this cross right here at like 12:40. So the 10 went above the 50. I'm not sure exactly when we curled up. But we were a little bit extended, so this like 10 SMA, 50 SMA pullback would have been the best spot to go, take a trade off of. I didn't call this out or anything, but this is a trade that you could have taken if you were trading. I didn't take this just because the action was just so choppy in this area. So really the only opportunity we had on Friday was if you took this 0-day cross right here. So 10 went above the 50, 50's curling up. You would have got this entry right in this 10 SMA pullback. I wouldn't have chased it up in this area. Wait for that little pullback to get the best risk to reward. And since we are neutral, I'm just looking for one solid trade for the day, and I wouldn't take anything else. So this would have been most likely the trade you'd have taken. Since we got the 0-day cross on the call side, it just didn't give that big of a move. So if you entered on this pullback at 12:40, let's say you did, take this. I'm gonna see what NQ looked like. I didn't call this out or anything. I didn't take this cross, but if we go back in here, 12:40 on whatever day this was, Thursday, 12:40. That was probably in this area back in here. So yeah, on this pullback, you could have gotten. Okay, yeah, you definitely should have gotten 50 points on this if you took that cross. So that pullback gave a good entry, and then we got like two follow through candles, which netted probably over 50 points, but you definitely should have hit that 50 mark threshold, which where you would have sold. Since we are in a neutral market, you don't want to be sticking around in the trade for too long since there is no trend on either side. So that was probably the best opportunity to take something, and then the rest of the day was just really choppy. So we lost the 50 here, 50 was down, and then this crossed negative, but we were back above the 10, the 50. So that was just a weird looking chart. At that point, just pack it up for the day. We're neutral. No point to stick around for trading the rest of this action. And that's why in a neutral market, usually it's just a one and done, because you could get this type of action where we get little follow through, and then after we just kind of chop around between the 10, the 50, and we try to cross negative, and then it recrosses back up and just chops around. So that's pretty much how you would have played Friday. Really wasn't anything to take other than that. We did take some other trades throughout the week, not too many. These were like the main setups that I did take. So this was on the 16th, very simple. 10 went above the 50. We got this pullback down in the 10, the 50, pretty much the same setup as Thursday that I just showed you. And then this was our entry, and then we got a bit of a choppy move out of it. Again, we're neutral, so this is a possibility, and we know this is our best shot though at a trade when we are neutral and getting choppy. So we got that entry there, and then we got this initial move lower, which we ended up wicking, and I didn't get my take profit filled. I went over this in the other video I think I posted on Wednesday. This is the trade I took, but yeah, it came back down to 50. We bounced out the 50, and then this leg lower right here is when I got filled for my 50 points. Again, in a neutral market, I'm shooting for 50 points. I don't care where it goes after that. I'm taking my 50 and just moving on to the next day. That's pretty much how you want to approach the neutral markets if we aren't having the best action. Sometimes we'll get some big moves, but most of the time it's best just to take your 50 points and then move on to the next day and just repeat the same process until we get trend. So yeah, that was one of the trades we took. And then again, this was right before the last trade on the on Tuesday, I think. 10 went above the 50. The 50 started to curl right in this area, so I went short at this 50 because that's when the 50 started to curl. And no, this is not like buying the 50 dip, because we don't do that when we're neutral. Since this is like the initial cross, this is an okay, this is a good entry to take because your risk is really low. If we break below the 50, you get out. It held the 50 though in this case, and we immediately bounced on that same candle in 3 minutes. That ended up flipping green, and we got this move lower, and I got my 50 points just like that. So it was a very simple trade. Those are they're all pretty similar in terms of how we took them. We got the cross, got a very low risk entry on this like pullback, and then we got a good move out of it. So that's what we did throughout the week going into this week. The 30-minute charts, this is what we currently look like. Again, we're still neutral. The call side isn't really showing anything. If you go to the higher time frames, really nothing, that's helping us read where we're gonna go. And then we go to the put side. Right now, obviously, we're kind of dancing around this. This 50 is curled up, so maybe we do open up bearish tomorrow. That'd be great, because then we probably will get some good movements and some really easy trades, since there will be trend. So if we do get trend, if this 30-minute remains crossed and the chart looks good, then the focus will be on the short side, and we'll just be looking for a 0-day cross on puts and then a 50 dip on puts. Those are your two types of like really high confidence trades in a neutral or a trending market. It's very simple. That's all we're going to be looking for. And then the higher time frames, I'm not sure what we look like. So yeah, we have this hourly 50, we have the 2-hour, and then I'm pretty sure the 4-hour is getting, the 4-hour is going negative. So that's a little weird, because if this chart is going negative, that'll likely push us higher, since it's a higher time frame, like negative cross. And then we have the daily time frame, which doesn't really show anything. So I'm not sure what contracts that we'll get tomorrow, because if we do get a significant move overnight, then these won't be the contracts we're watching, and those could look a little different. So I'm just gonna be paying attention to this 30-minute chart, and if we flip bearish, focus on the bears, and then if not, and this chart goes back negative, then we'll probably see a move higher, since we have that 30-minute chart going negative and then the 4-hour chart going negative in confluence. So if that's the case, just look for a cross on calls. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got. If you guys enjoyed, drop a like, drop a sub. If you guys want to learn, join the Discord down below. But yeah, that's all I got. I'm out. Peace.